Truckers protesting COVID mandates in Canada have impacted the U.S. auto industry and other aspects of the economy, including trade. We asked Professor Sophal Ear, Associate Dean at the Thunderbird School of Global Management at ASU, about the impact of the protests here in Arizona. Sophal, welcome to Arizona Horizon. We appreciate your time as we talk about this trucker situation at the Canadian border with the U.S. What is the latest on this? It sounds like things might be dying down a little bit.
Indeed, I actually think that finally it's taking a turn, because yesterday Prime Minister Justin Trudeau of Canada declared a national emergency to end the protests. So he's taking action, and he is now deciding to use forces to actually stop the protesters, threatening to confiscate and tow away all these trucks that are blocking certainly Ottawa and other places.
Yeah, it sounded like Ottawa was paralyzed there for a while. The impact of this on the U.S. economy in general, the auto industry in particular.
Well, especially in the case of Detroit and Windsor, Canada, that bridge that connected the two was a huge thoroughfare for auto parts going back and forth. So the inability to transport these parts has obviously caused a lot of damage. Now, I'm not sure of the percentage-wise economic impact, but obviously it became so significant that Trudeau used the economic damage caused by this paralysis to call it a state of emergency.
Is it the kind of thing where we might see even higher prices? We're already seeing higher prices on cars, especially used cars, but could this kind of thing have a little bit of a ripple effect for a while?
Certainly. I mean, we've already got all these supply chain issues, right? Microchips that aren't available for the completion of new vehicles, and therefore causing the substitute of new vehicles, the next best thing, used cars, to become more and more expensive. But because it was, it's only been a couple of weeks of this, I don't think, as long as it stops now, I don't think it's going to be a dramatic impact. It might be a blip on the screen, a bit of a rough patch there, but hopefully nothing more than that going forward, as long as we turn the corner and really return to normalcy.
Does that apply to Arizona's economy? And well, we're far ways off here from Canada, but we have trade issues, and Arizona and Canada have a good trade relationship.
We certainly do. Canada and Arizona are actually surprising. When I was looking into this, there's a very significant relationship, actually. We in Arizona export to Canada quite a bit. Arizona really has $349 million worth of vegetables exports to Canada, $149 million worth of aircraft and parts. Really significant amounts of exports that would be problematic for the Canadians to receive if these truckers are blocking the way. And of course, Canada imports, or rather exports, to Arizona as well. So in total, about $2.2 billion of Arizona imports in goods from Canada annually. So that's quite significant. And Arizona exports $1.9 billion in goods to Canada annually.
So with that said, and with what's going on and how it is seemingly like it's dying down a little bit here, will we see ripple effects here in Arizona for a while? And if so, how long?
Well, I think that given that the immediate problem was on the border itself, and obviously in Ottawa, the capital city, hopefully that wasn't significantly these vegetables from Arizona and aircraft parts and so on. But instead, if any delays were caused, they're not going to be delayed any further. If you're talking about vegetables, if they're delayed a couple of weeks, they spoil. But if you're talking about parts and things that are obviously not going to spoil, that's not going to really cause a major problem. I think that over time, the consequences of this will dissipate.
Yeah. So last question here. What lessons are learned here regarding the interdependence between the U.S. and Canada on trade and on the ability to cross the border?
That interdependence is incredibly important, because Canada is our major trading partner, right? I mean, we have such a relationship with Canada and Canada with us that it makes it very difficult to suddenly cause a choke point like a bridge that allows so much activity, economic activity to take place, to somehow be displaced as a result of truckers. And by the way, the lesson from this isn't new. There were truck protests during the oil crisis of the 1970s. They've used this ability of what's really, a mass disruption to cause flows of goods to stop. And so truckers know that when they're not happy with, vaccination mandates, the Canadian ones are not happy with the Canadian vaccination mandates, that they can really punch where it hurts in terms of stopping the arteries of the system from working. And I guess the indulgence of the Canadian government has ended.
Sophal Ear, Thunderbird School of Global Management at ASU. Good conversation. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.